Well, thank you, Chairman Hickenlooper and Ranking Member Braun and all my colleagues here in this committee. I always wanted to be on the Health Committee, and here I am at the dais. This is unbelievable. Thank you. Listen, I am here with friends, and the two of you in particular being employers in your previous incarnations, and I know everybody in this panel has a passion for this. This training issue is huge, and Senator Kaine and I have been trying, so far unsuccessfully, although we came very close in the so-called Endless Frontier Act, to get a program in place that many of you are very familiar with, and I know Senator Braun, Senator Baldwin, and others have worked with us closely on this, but to get people to the point where they can get these short-term certificates and have the federal government help them. You know, we spend so much money as a federal government on higher ed, and I'm not against that, but my gosh, shouldn't we be spending some money on actually training people up for the jobs that are right there available now, where they're not going to have a big debt, where they're going to be able to go right into you know, buying a house and buying a car and being able to get this economy moving. So that's what this is about. Our economy post-COVID-19, or we're still in this COVID-19 pandemic, but in this time period, needs this more than ever. I mean, I cannot tell you an employer that I've talked to in my home state of Ohio, and I know the same is true in all of your states, who hasn't talked about it. We had a conference call this morning with the oil and gas industry in Ohio, and what did I hear about? Number one issue? Workforce. Number one issue. And it's truck drivers. It's technicians on the well sites. It's for the disposal wells to have some way to just find people to do the work. So this is a critical issue for our long-term economic health, and right now more important than ever. I do think it is about the entire economy, so I'm not suggesting it's all about middle skills jobs, which is what economists call these jobs that don't require a college degree, but do require some advanced level of training. That has been the real problem in our economy the last several years. It's about everything right now, let's be honest. It's hospitality. It's, you know, executives. It's, you know, so-called white-collar jobs. But still, the biggest concern, I think, is among these middle-skill jobs. And this morning, just while I've been here, I've gotten to hear some really exciting news about what's going on with your high schools and career and technical education programs. And Senator Kaine, who you'll hear from in a moment, and I are co-chairs, along with Tammy Baldwin, and probably all of you are on it, the CTE caucus here in the Senate. We have a caucus to promote career and technical education. We have passed some legislation to get the federal government funding increased and to provide more standards for CTE and to improve CTE. That's all good. But in my view, that's not going to solve the problem, because career and technical can't provide the level of training that most of the employers need to be able to fill these so-called middle-income jobs. And, you know, these are jobs like welders and machinists in factories. And one of the people on the call this morning was a manufacturer who provides something for the oil and gas industry, and he can't find welders, which isn't a surprise, I'm sure, to anybody in this panel. It's medical hospitals, it's truck drivers, it's logistics experts, it's coders, it's people who can help program these computers that are now running every factory in America in most of our lives. So those are the middle skill jobs. And so our idea is really very simple, is to provide this Pell Grant funding, not just for a 4-year or 2-year degree, but also provided for these relatively shorter term training programs that gives someone an industry recognized certificate at the end of the process. And the success of these programs is unbelievable. And we heard about some of this today again, but if you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, which is, you know, after 10, 12 weeks, you can actually get a degree that'll give you a job, you're much more likely to stick around. And unfortunately, with Pell in a higher ed level, and we've had this discussion in this committee, most of the students do not get a degree. Most of the students do not get a degree. Now, again, I'm for Pell at higher ed. I think we can improve the program, but that's good. But shouldn't we also permit it for this other purpose, where these students are pretty much all going to get that certificate, and when they get that certificate, get a job? And so we've all, you know, had the situation where someone does get that degree in college, by the way, and then they don't have a job at the end because they haven't developed a skill that's actually needed in the economy. So it's connecting that, and no better way to do it than CTE and this shorter term skills programs that Senator Kaine and I have been promoting. So the Jobs Act now has 39 co-sponsors, including Ranking Member Braun. I'm grateful that HELP has agreed to some of the bipartisan changes to improve the bill along the way and allow it to advance to the Senate floor. Again, we almost got it done. It was in the manager's amendment for the so-called Third Frontier Bill or the Endless Frontier Bill. And I would urge members to take a look at it. If you can help us with it, that'd be great. And my hope is that we will find a vehicle here this year to be able to move it forward. So I thank the witnesses for being here today, all of you, and what you're doing in your home states, and encouraging more young people to step up and take advantage of these programs, the CTE programs and the short-term training programs. Every community college in our states is now focused more and more on this. It's the #1 priority of the community colleges around America, I'm told, is to get this Jobs Act done, because they're all doing these short-term training programs, as are the technical schools. And I think it's the best way to begin to fill this jobs gap that we see. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.